It was never missing, they just sent the wrong one. So we're getting the correct one.
It is day 3 of the ballot count in Augusta as we get closer to learning who won 3 different primary races in Maine. We're getting some clarity today on a potential issue with the process. Coming up tonight at 6 as well, a debate over how much renovation is allowed for some historic property owners.
We are talking with city staff in Bangor who explain a proposed policy change. And then the World Cup continues with the excitement reaching New England.
News Center Maine live in Boston tonight, talking with soccer fans from all around the world. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Brian Yacono.
And I'm Amanda Hill. Let's get over to Ryan Breton, who has a first look at our forecast, and just a beautiful one out there, Ryan.
Sure is, Brian and Amanda. Good evening to both of you. Hi, everybody. A nice blue sky right now out over Kennebunkport. It's been a beautiful day today, and it will be a really nice evening, too. We have another nice one tomorrow. There's a small chance for a pop-up shower farther inland and north, but most places a mix of sun and clouds with temps in the 70s. Thursday, a different story. We will have rounds of showers, downpours, and some thunderstorms coming through. And in the places that get some repeated downpours, there can be some rainfall totals over 1.5 inches. Beautiful out there now, though. Temps mainly in the 70s, and the key today has been the low dew points down in the 40s. This can give you an indication of how cool the temperatures can drop at night, and there may be a few places early tomorrow morning that briefly start with temperatures in the 40s, but we're headed back for the 70s tomorrow afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds and just a stray shower mainly up north. Much more on that weather coming in for Thursday in about 15 minutes.
Eliot Cutler's lawyer says he expected his client to be released from jail. The two-time gubernatorial candidate was released following a hearing today after he was arrested for the 6th time on alleged probation violation charges. Cutler was released early in 2024 after pleading guilty to having sexually explicit material of minors the previous year. Court documents say Cutler was discharged from a specialized behavioral program last week, but did not complete the program as directed by the court when he refused to sign a treatment contract. Cutler's lawyer says he refused to sign the agreement because it was more restrictive than the court-ordered probation conditions.
As election workers continue that process and processing votes from across the state, the Secretary of State's office today announcing the dates for 3 recounts. You can see those on your screen right now. They include the Democratic race for State Senate in District 30, the Republican race for District 49, and the Democratic primary for House District 135. And as the counting continues for 3 statewide primary races, we are getting a look at the day 3 efforts.
News Center Maine's Christian Harsa is in Augusta now with more on this. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Brian and Amanda. We don't have results yet, but it does look like tomorrow is going to be today. But they have been making progress here so far. But there have been some small issues along the way, and one of those is from Limestone, Maine, which sent 2 flash drives here to Augusta. One of those flash drives had just an absentee votes on it. It was a test used before Election Day, and then the other one had all the votes on it. The state counted both of those, later realizing it needed to remove the duplicated absentee votes. There was also issues for Bodenham with one memory stick that was unreadable, so they scanned all the paper ballots here in Augusta. For Bath, the town did not send one of its flash drives, so law enforcement picked that up yesterday. There was also an error with Biddeford's memory sticks, and that has already been fixed today.
There is nothing missing. They accidentally sent us their local municipal ballot absentee stick instead of sending the state absentee stick. So we've actually sent law enforcement to pick up the correct stick and bring it back here. It was never missing, they just sent the wrong one. So we're getting the correct one.
And it was probably 15 minutes after that law enforcement brought in the correct memory stick from Biddeford. The staff here showed us that the envelope was sealed and even showed us the receipt of who handed the memory stick off to who. Now, I want to be able to show you a look at what's going on in here. Usually the staff here would have gone home by now, 5 o'clock is when they usually end, but they're still working through. But at this table right here, you can see campaign staffers working, looking over the binders from 4 different counties that have been reconciled, meaning they've made sure that the town numbers match what they calculated here in Augusta. And those towns are Franklin, Hancock, and Kennebec. And then we have Cumberland. I will note that Cumberland County doesn't have Harpswell quite done just yet. I was told here that they had a question about those results, so they are just waiting until the clerk gets back tomorrow to be able to ask those questions. We are being told that it looks like we're on track to get some results tomorrow, but Brian and Amanda, we will find out.
All right, a lot of updates there out of Augusta. Christian, thank you. 530 days. That's how long some Maine contractors say they've been waiting to be paid for work completed on the Maine International Cold Storage Facility in Portland.
So we first told you about their payment dispute earlier this month. Today, those contractors returned to that site, this time with support from lawmakers across the political spectrum. News Center Maine's Alex Haskell live in our studio tonight with those details. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Amanda. So it's not often you see a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent all agree on something, but that's exactly what happened today when 2 state lawmakers and a candidate for governor joined local contractors in demanding payment for work they say was completed more than a year ago.
This cold storage facility was sold as progress. It was sold as economic development.
But independent candidate for governor Rick Bennett says that promise has been undermined by reality.
It is not a win for Maine when Maine small businesses get stiffed by foreign private equity.
Standing outside the Maine International Cold Storage Facility, Bennett called on Amber Infrastructure, an asset management firm based in Europe, and FCL Builders, an out-of-state general contractor, to pay millions of dollars that contractors say they are still owed for their work on the project.
The contractors will be paid.
Bennett was joined by Democratic State Representative Lydia Crafts.
If we can't enter into public-private partnerships without a risk of a multinational foreign corporation not paying their bills and showing up for Maine workers, it's going to hurt our economy, it's going to drive up costs, and it's bad for Maine people.
Republican State Senator Brad Farron is also backing the contractors and say the state should take a closer look at what happened.
I think that we should be drafting a letter and submit it to the Government Oversight Committee and ask them to investigate why these payments haven't been made.
For Mark Curtis, general manager of Gorham Sand and Gravel, the show of bipartisan support is encouraging. Curtis says his company is still owed about $1 million and wants more state leaders to get involved.
If a company can't meet its contractual obligations, the state of Maine should not continue looking the other way.
Bennett is also calling on state leaders to take action, not only to help these contractors get paid, but to ensure other Maine businesses don't face the same situation.
Amber Infrastructure is rumored to be in discussions and wanting to do more projects in Maine. The political leadership of this state ought to say hell no until they pay their bills.
Now, in a statement from the cold storage facility's owner, they say a large number of local companies have been paid by Amber and FCL over the last 2 months. The owner says a small number of local contractors are still involved in what they describe as complex litigation with FCL. Separately, the Maine Department of Transportation says it's aware of the concerns, but because of active litigation, it would be inappropriate to comment further. In studio, Alex Haskell, News Center Maine.